Welcome to another episode of the StoneLine Climbing Podcast. In this episode, I chat to none other than Jerry Moffatt. If you've been living under a rock, you might not know who Jerry is. So Jerry was one of the best climbers in the world, probably the best climber in the world, back in the 1980s. He did the first ascent of many hard routes, both in the UK and abroad, and later in his career did competitions and hard boulder problems as well. So legendary first ascents of boulders like the Ace at Stanage have Jerry's name to them. I sat down with Jerry to really find out what his mindset and approach was to a lot of the hard climbing that he'd done, how he approached competitions, how he dealt with pressure, and we touched on a lot of other different things and themes along the way. Jerry was incredibly open and honest as always, and yeah, real joy to chat to. So I hope you enjoy this one with Jerry Moffatt. I was interested about when you said about going to that unit, that local unit. What was that like going? I know you've spent a lot of time still seeing climbing and knowing sort of what's going on in climbing. What do you kind of see now as how do you see climbing now versus how it was, I guess, 20 years ago?
I think one of the biggest, obviously, climbing walls have improved, and now you've got this unit in Mansfield, which is state of the art. I think the main thing that's changed is that you get people climbing on that artificial stuff who have no interest climbing outside and don't climb outside. And they have no aspirations to climb outside, which is totally okay. Yeah. That's fine, and I get that. But it's just weird how it's just like a sub sport, and you've got the two different sports, and then you've got like the bouldering artificial, the roots artificial, and then you've got like parkour-y type stuff.
Do you see comps now as like way more separate to rock than they were?
Yes.
In your day?
Yeah, you've never been as far apart.
When you like watch those guys now, like when you were at that unit and you were watching like the Tobys and those guys, what does that look like? Does it still look like what you would do it, or does it look...
It looks like nothing. Really? It looks horrendous. Because you have to learn so many things. You have to be mega strong. You have to be super strong. Then you've got to do the run-up starts, all the balancing slabs. The climbing is so rounded, and you have to have so many skills. I mean, I was there one time, and it was the unit before that unit, so there was another unit before that, which was still pretty amazing, that Toby used to go to, and a lot of the good climbers. I remember going down there, and Toby was trying, I went down to watch him, and he spent about half an hour just running up to this thing and standing on a slab and trying to balance it with 1 foot. Yeah. And you're thinking, man, that's so boring compared to, trying to do some power overhang stuff. But you have to do that. You have you have to do that, and you have to be able to just jump on and just balance.
Was there any stuff in your day that was like that you were like, fuck, I've got to do this, but I don't really want to do it? Or did any of the training that you did for rock climbing, you feel just the training you did for comps just instantly transferred?
It transferred. There was nothing.
So you didn't really have to do. You feel like you didn't really have to
do
anything?
No, I didn't have to do it. But I enjoyed doing slabs. So when I was in Fontainebleau, and if I was climbing down there, I'd have a day where I just did problems with no hands. So I just did them on my feet. So
just as like a rest day.
Just for a rest day. And it was just, to go there and try and smear up things, and I really enjoyed it, and I loved doing slabs and stuff. So I would do that, but it wasn't for anything other than I was just saving my skin, and it was something to do rather than just sit around. And I quite like doing that. Do
you think that's something like people miss a bit, is maybe when they can't physically climb, they're just like, well, fuck this, like I'll rest or do other stuff? Do you think?
It doesn't seem like they ever don't climb. It doesn't seem like they ever don't climb. They seem to climb almost like every day.
Oh, those guys, the comp guys.
Yeah, the comp guys, they're just every day.
Yeah. Did you used to climb every day?
Only in the start when I was like 15, 16, when I first started. I used to climb every day. But then I'd never heard of rest days. Nobody had rest days, and it wasn't... the whole thing was completely different. I mean, when I first started climbing, I didn't see anybody use chalk for probably the first year. Really? I never saw anybody, and the first time I saw somebody using chalk, I was like, whoa, wow, check these guys out. They've got chalk and headbands, and you just go, whoa.
And Lycra or?
No. That was years later. Wow. I started climbing in walking boots.
Really?
So no chalk, walking boots, and if it rained, we still went out climbing. Yeah. So the first time I came to the Peak District, we went to Froggatt. It was raining, and I did a severe because it was raining. So you just drop your grade, but we climbed if it was raining and everything, and we climbed in big walking boots because that was considered better for your footwork. Yeah. So these huge, they were like ski boots. So you imagine how hard that was climbing. It was horrendous. Yeah. Doing VSs and stuff, or even hard VS in big walking boots is bloody hard.
Do you think that helped when you then started to move towards boulder climbing? The fact that you've done stuff in boots and
100% not.
Really?
No, it was horrendous. It didn't help you climbing. It's just the way climbing was, you know. Yeah. And then I got a pair of Green Flash Dunlop trainers, and I thought, wow, these are so much better than walking boots. And then somebody had a pair of EBs, and back then nobody climbed in anything else other than EBs. Yeah. That was the only shoe there was, and I tried them, and I thought, oh man, overrated. Right. I think I prefer my trainers. Yeah. And then I got a pair for a Christmas present, and they were just, you know, amazing.
Game changer.
Yeah, game changer. Yeah. And then you could work on your footwork and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess you've seen it change a lot. I mean, in the last couple of months or whatever, this new rubber has kind of come out that people are talking about as being, you know, there's almost like questions of will they ban it or whatever because it's that sticky. It's like you can take two pairs of boots, like two shoes, stick them together, and they'll just stick together for like.
Yeah, I've seen
ages.
that. I saw that video.
Yeah. Did you see Magnus? Yeah. What did you think of that?
We had rubber like that years ago. There was
really?
There was a. Back in Joshua Tree in about 83, there were these Mexican boots that were made, and the rubber on the bottom was made from aircraft tyres, and it was so soft, and it was ridiculous. It was so sticky, but you couldn't edge in anything. But there was some problems with like stemming and slabs and stuff, and you put them on, and they were just like glue. Wow. And the boot was just made like absolute shit. It was terrible. But the rubber was amazing. Wow. But I mean, you'll get rubber like that, but it'll work on cold days, and you know, or vice versa. So rubber only works. Certain rubbers work in different temperatures, don't they? So it might work really well when it's cold, but if it's hot, it'll just go melt and just be.
Yeah, and like you said, it might work well on slab and smearing, but it won't edge for shit.
Yeah.
So there's no like one thing, one solution.
So there's been rubbers like that before.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think. And it was like when food rays first came out, they stuck together. If you get normal sticky rubber and you rub it together and get it hot and go like that, and then you can turn it upside down and people go, oh, look at that, they're sticking together. Yeah. But it's a fashion thing. I mean, like we used to squeaker boots before every boulder problem.
Nobody
squeaks
rare
them
these days.
Nobody does it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's incredible. You know, when we'd go to a lead route in a competition, you'd squeak your boots first. Squeaking boot means you sort of spit on them, rub the water off, get everything off until they start going like that, and then they squeak. Yeah. Then you'd put a pair of socks over your shoes. Then you'd walk to the bottom of the comp problem, and just before you're climbing, you take the sock off so you got like a squeaky boot. Yeah. But people don't even do it for boulder problems now. But I'm looking at it and thinking, you're on a slab, and your foot's popping, and you've got like chalk stuck to the bottom of your boot.
Yeah, those mats like would be filthy.
Yeah,
you know, from all sorts of dirt.
But people don't bother doing it.
Even you could do it these days, even with just a pair of Crocs, couldn't you, or whatever, like. You know, just on top of your climbing shoes.
Yeah, but people don't do it. I think sometimes they spray. I've seen the good climbers at the unit spraying chalk on the boots. Yeah. It's like a chalk spray.
Yeah, you can get
or some spray that you spray on your boot.
Yeah, it's almost like some of them are like water. I think sometimes people are spraying this like rhino spit stuff. That is essentially just doing the same thing. It's instead of spit, it's just this water, and you're just squeaking them like that. But yeah, it's surprising how little. You know, that's something I guess is really useful and really beneficial.
Yeah, I mean that came for me. That came from Fontainebleau, because if you're doing problems in Fontainebleau, this is pre-bouldering mats, pre-chalk. When I first went there, you had to use resin. So the locals would resin the whole problem, stand at the bottom, put resin on your feet, and then you squeak the boot with resin. Yeah. So that's where we got that from.
When did you first go to Font?
I think it was 2 or 3.
All right.
And
That's
I was
pretty
told
early.
not to use chalk.
Wow.
I was climbing. One problem with the Ministrel brothers, who were the top climbers, and I think we were trying this problem. And Mark said to me, "Gee, if you use chalk, you can't try the problem." And all the other guys were like, "No, you can try it with us." I'm like, "Fair enough, keep it to yourself." Wow. And all the others were going, "No, it doesn't matter." But that was how it was. That was the ethic. You don't use chalk.
Wow. Why did they believe that you shouldn't use chalk?
Because they thought it was bad for the rock.
Damage the rock.
Yeah, damage the rock.
But I mean,
and it was horrendous. I mean, it was hard with no chalk. It was just a greasy hell. And if you tried a problem after 3 or 4 guys had tried it, well, man, it was horrendous. It was like black with grease.
Yeah. I mean, you see that still these days with people with like really sweaty skin, and on some parts of the rock in front where it's been, the kind of outer surface has been worn away, that you get that, you touch a hold, within 5 minutes it's black.
Yeah.
It's kind of ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see stuff like that was, how things have changed, because I guess POF and, resin there now is almost the opposite, is that right?
Yeah, no, nobody uses it now.
You shouldn't use it.
Now it's supposed to be bad for the rock.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
It's interesting. How closely do you follow climbing these days? I mean, obviously, like you said then, you've watched that Magnus video, and I know you've filmed and seen those guys.
I watch a little bit of it, but I don't really follow it that much. But if there was a comp on, I'd go and watch it. I watched the Quiff thing at the...
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
cool,
I went down to that.
Right.
And then I go to Rick's unit sometime if people are climbing down there, watch them climb. And then I follow some of the stuff if it comes off on YouTube. But I don't avidly watch it.
Yeah. I think, I mean, even since I started, to be honest, like I started in 2010, I'm a bit less engaged with climbing media now than I was then. I guess maybe it's just when you're younger and you're like frothing.
But if I'd still get super excited to see people climb down at the unit, or I've seen some good climbers do hard stuff outside.
Yeah. I was going to ask you actually about watching Adam flash the ace. What that was like to see. Yeah, that was good, and I've seen him climb before, and I've seen him I saw him do some real hard stuff in Arco, and is it Oleana? I saw him do like a 9B or 9B plus, some horrendous thing, which he'd been trying for a few days. I saw him do that, and it was incredible. It was incredible. It was incredible to watch. I mean, it was so hard, and he just couldn't stop to clip a bolt, and he was just running it out. And you think, yeah, go. And then you're thinking, will you clip a bloody bolt? Clip a bolt. I mean, he was taking a monster fall. Monster. It's got balls, isn't it?
Absolute monster. And he's just screaming and just going, Yeah, no, forget it. It was great to watch. I mean, if that was in the peak and I could go and watch it every day, I'd take the dogs for a walk and then I'd go and watch that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it is good to see. Same with the guys when they're bouldering at the unit. It's nice to see people at the top of the sport, isn't it? Top of the game.
Yeah. Would when you saw it, obviously, I guess it's interesting seeing somebody try something, like you see him try 9B plus in Oleana or whatever, or in Arco, that maybe you haven't tried. What was it like seeing him try, like your boulder that you have a personal experience with, like the ace?
Yeah, I mean, the ace is a good one to flash because you can touch and feel all the holes and stuff. So it was good. It was good to see him. Good to see him do it.
Do you think when you did it originally? What year was it you did it? 2000?
I don't know. I was trying it the wrong way, so I tried it for a long time, but I was trying it the wrong way. So I was trying it keeping my feet under the overhang rather than putting my left foot over and flagging. And I was trying it this way. It was just horrendous. I mean, I'd hit the top from the ground doing it my way, and it was horrendous. Then somebody said, "Oh, why don't you put your foot up and flag it?" I'm like, "Oh, I've not tried that." I hit the top first go. I did the move first try, and I went back and did it really quickly the next day. I was like, "What?" I mean, there's more of a grade difference.
Yeah.
So like, what took me like 2 years to hit the top once, I just went flag, cross, ball, touch the top. I'm like, oh, one of those moments you think, what? What? I'm an idiot.
But it's interesting. Who do you remember who told you that, or why didn't you try flagging?
Yeah, it was. Is it Stuart Littlefur?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Stu's like obviously a really good climber as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's mega strong. He's mega strong.
He must have been quite
legend.
young.
He's a legend. He's super strong.
Yeah.
Super strong, and he's been there and done it all, but does one of those sort of under
the
cover
radar
climbers. Under the radar. That's it. And who's super strong but didn't mouth off and do stuff.
Yeah. Did you? I guess sometimes maybe people are sort of unwilling to take advice from other people, you know, if they kind of like, oh, when you try this, when you try that. Were you always pretty open to that kind of stuff?
More than open. I was desperate to get. I wanted to get advice from everybody,
cool.
And then you can sift through it and think that's good. I'll try that. But when I for instance went to America in '82, I met some of the top climbers in the world, like John Backer at the time. I befriended him, and I got everything I could out of him. Everything, and all climbers, all people. What do you do? What do you eat? How do you train? Do you stretch, rest days, all that stuff? And he was the first one that really, he was the first sort of real professional person that I knew who knew about rest days, and he'd read a lot of books on training. And he was very professional about it. Let's say all his training was, sort of written down. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He was doing dead hangs. He was the one that first told me about what crimp was. And that's, I'd never heard of a crimp. He goes, do you crimp it? Oh, what's a crimp? I'd never heard of it. There was no crimp or hanging or different ways of holding holds.
It was just like you hold a hold and that's
it. You just grabbed a hold.
Yeah.
But it's, I call a crimp when you put your thumb over it. I'm like, oh, that's a crimp, is it? And then I came back and I talked about crimps, and now it's just a common language, isn't
part
it?
of it.
Yeah, crimping and hanging. And
so for you, a big part of it was just getting around other people that were
I think you want to know. I was climbing better than Backer then,
right?
So I was climbing better than him. I was stronger than him, but you still want to get everything out of them, don't you? And think, I can do that, or I can't do that.
I see what's sometimes interesting is, I mean, you do see it, I guess, like the best climbers want to be around the other best climbers. I think it's also maybe sometimes common to see the inverse, where you might see people at a lower level that are almost afraid or intimidated to be around people that are much better than them.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that limits? I mean, I personally do. Do you think that's something that limits people in terms of improvement, like being sort of scared to get around people or even get
I think
around
the thing to remember
things?
is that if you climb with somebody who's way better than you, and you're thinking, I don't want to make myself look stupid, the one thing I would say is they don't care at all how you climb. They're not bothered. Yeah. They're just not bothered at all. Yeah. They're only interested in how they how they climb. Yeah. And if you're climbing with them, you're looking at them thinking, they're good, but you yourself are more interested in how you climb. And it's great to watch them, but you're thinking, hang on a minute, I want to climb good now for a bit. And I've done it with a lot of other sports. I've done a lot of, when I got into surfing, when I backed in climbing, and I'd go to one wave and I'd see these, you'd be getting a few waves, and then the pros would come out, you'd watch them get barrels, and you sit in the water, you're thinking, that's cool, he's getting a really good barrel. After about 15 minutes, I'm done on this, I want to get a barrel myself. And so, that's how it is. Yeah.
Who would you think you learnt the most from, maybe then, in a climbing perspective?
Early on, John Backer, he had a big influence on me on training, rest days, being methodical about it. I started reading a lot of books on training and diet and all those things. So that changed it in the early 80s.
You guys weren't doing up until that point? You were just going climbing?
No, we weren't doing it. And I thought, well, there's no climbing coaches, so I have to be the coach, and I have to coach myself. And that's how I thought about it. So I read, it was hard to get information back then because it was pre-internet. So I'd get Muscle and Fitness every month, read on training stuff on that. I'd read all books I could on training and diet and educate myself. I read books on injuries, tendons, how they work, everything.
You just absorbed
because
it all.
I think I've got to be, if I want to be the best, I've got to be the best coach. I've got to be able to coach myself and learn all that stuff.
Today we've almost got the opposite problem, where there's so much information, and even, God, if you're looking into other sports as well, but even in climbing, there's so much information you could do, on different things you could do, training and all that sort of stuff. And there are coaches.
And you have fashions. Everybody does. You look at it, and people will be doing, 3 sets of something and then to failure, and then they'll rest and they'll do 3 sets to failure and do something. In 10 years it'll be like 1 set or 2 set, and it'll just change. But you'll get the top people doing stuff, and then everybody else will do the same thing because they do that.
Yeah. What do you think? Was there a time I mean, I think I remember you talked about previously doing, like a year or whatever, doing pull-ups and being like how much that improved your climbing from just...
Yes, well, that was back in about 81, I think, and there was no climbing walls at all, but we had a gym at the Polytechnic at here in Sheffield, and they just had a pull-up bar, and they had some little finger holds on it. And there was a hard route in America called Genesis, done by Jim Collins, and it was written on the thing, Jim Collins was here, so it'd hang on this finger edge for age, and that's all there was. And somebody said, pull-ups might help, and it was Pete O'Donovan. Right. I thought, pull-ups for climbing, how's that going to help? I thought, well, I'll try it because I've got nothing else to do. So we just did loads of pull-ups. And then I remember I think it was Wee Doris dried off at the beginning of the season. I dropped a rope down it and did it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how much they helped. And then that's when I thought, training helps for climbing. But before then, I didn't even think that training helped. I mean, I just went bouldering and did stuff just because I enjoyed it. And then later on, I could see how, I went to America 82, 83, I met John Backer, then I started training, and then I went back there the following year. And then I did loads of bouldering, specifically as training to go over there to do routes. Right.
So you were bouldering here to train to do routes.
Yeah. So I spent the summer at Tom's Roof at Stony Middleton doing all these circuits and really hard boulder problems and stuff, specifically for going over there. I got a rope ladder, and I'll be doing ladders, traversing, pumping, doing loads of bouldering. And nobody else was doing it. Yeah. Nobody else. Yeah. Nobody was bouldering back then.
Could you see straight away like the benefit of it?
Oh, mate, it was ridiculous. Yeah. It was ridiculous. I was doing these boulder problems, thinking of doing this route in El Dorado called Psycho, which is a Jim Collins route, which a load of people had tried. Nobody had been able to repeat it. And I went up there. It was a really cold day. I think I tried it a couple of times. There was 3 of us on the beeline. It was just too cold, so I lowered off. And then I went back the next day and did it first go. And that was one of the hardest routes in the world. But the things I was doing on Tom's Roof was so frigging hard. Yeah. I just went out, grabbed this finger hold, and just like sort of crimped it, did this finger switch. And I can remember it to this day. I can remember it so clearly, doing this finger switch and reaching out, and it was like in slow motion. My hand went out to this jug. I can remember as I was reaching for it, I remember thinking, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do Psycho Roof. I'm going to do Psycho Roof. And then I did it. And it was my dream, to do that route. It was one of the hardest routes in the world. And I just, I pissed it.
Yeah, that must have, I guess maybe you don't see that much these days. It must have felt pretty special doing something of that difficulty with so much control and so much margin to actually feel I'm thinking about this I'm doing it.
I absolutely pissed it, because it was one of the hardest routes in the world. And then the other one was Genesis. I did the second ascent of Genesis. That took me a couple of days. And then Chris Gore was trying it. He did it, and I thought I was beeling in my tennis shoes. So I thought I'll just have a go in my tennis shoes, and I top roped it in my tennis shoes. And that was supposed to be the hardest route in the world. Loads of people have tried it. Yeah, did it in my tennis shoes on a Saturday with all the locals there. Oh my God! Did it in my
They must have hated you over there, like.
Don't think they did really. I didn't.
You weren't rubbing their noses.
Yeah, I didn't do a YouTube channel saying how brilliant it was or anything like that. Or I didn't do any publicity or photos, and that was pre-professional climbing.
You were still going climbing at that point?
Yeah, just going climbing, and nobody earned any money from climbing. Yeah. So it was considered back at that time bad, really, just to do photos
to be self-publicising
stuff. Yeah, because then it made it look like you were doing it just to get in the magazines. And we thought that was lame. So if I did any routes back then and somebody said, can I come back and take photos, I'd be like, nah. No. Because it makes it look like you're just doing it for the...
Yeah. It's interesting now, though, isn't it? Because that's changed so much these days. It's like that's part of the...
Yeah, but it changed with professional climbing, and then as I became professional, I flipped that around, and I realised I had to do...
Did you face any photos? Kind of, backlash or snide sort of shit from the climbing community for doing that, for making that flip? I don't know. I can imagine maybe even if you did, you didn't give a shit, but...
Not really. I did actually do a video. I think it's on YouTube of when I did those problems. I was 19, and some guy did a film there I'm do Psycho, Cinch Crack. I do the second ascent of some boulder problems.
So they're
up at Flagstaff for the interview, and they said, "What do you like about climbing?" I said, "Well, my favourite bit is burning people off."
Oh, you must have got some shit for that.
Oh, I got loads of shit from it. All these
God.
Americans were like, what a cock.
Yeah.
Okay, I just love burning people off.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm this young, arrogant 19-year-old kid. What's your favourite bit? Burning people off.
Yeah. Nobody says that these days.
Not being out in the countryside or anything, or just being with your
just
mates
enjoying
and
nature.
the social thing, or nature and loving the rock. And
rinsing people.
no, just simply burning people off.
We don't get that these days. I don't think
I
there's
think I was
a
a bit too
professional
honest.
climber. I think you just maybe just a character.
I got reminded of that a lot.
Yeah, but that's.
But I was young at him. I must have. That's what I must have enjoyed, and that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was honest about it.
Yeah, I think to me at least, this part of what makes you, what you are to climbing is that you had that attitude, and you were like, I don't care, like, because I don't think these days.
I mean, it was great to go over there, and I did all the hardest.
Yeah,
I did all the hardest things, and I pissed them. Like Super Crack in the Gunks was the hardest route there. The quickest descent was like, I think Pete O'Donovan had done it like second go, so he told me it was unsightable. So I unsighted that. Previous to him, it was like 3 days. It was one of the hardest things there. So to go there and just do it with no falls, it made big news. And when I first met Backer in Joshua Tree, he'd heard that I'd done these things.
Yeah. What was it like then coming back to the UK, kind of knowing that you'd done all that stuff there? Did you, did you come back thinking, right, well, what's next? Like, or was
well, I came back. Yeah, I came back, and I was really, really ambitious to try and do some hard stuff.
Yeah. Was it first ascents then, or was there still stuff
always
here?
First ascents. There was nothing here. There was nothing. I mean, I think all the hardest routes were my first ascents anyway. That being arrogant, I think they were. I mean, Ron had done a couple of things. He did cave route left hand, which was at the time probably the hardest route in Britain. That was mega, but I think that was before then. I can't remember. I think I did the second ascent of that. That was really hard, and ahead of its time type thing. But I was climbing really well back then, and nobody else was really training and bouldering and doing the kind of things that I was doing.
How were you?
So in my career, 83 was my best year by miles, because I was climbing a lot better than everybody else.
That's interesting.
I mean, I was on-sighting. On-sighted 7C plus, and I think I don't think anybody else was even doing 7B plus on site.
Oh. Yeah. It's a pretty big jump, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how
even the French guys said that when I went over there, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it when they, Antoine and those guys, when they watched me do some things. And Didier Rabatou was there when I on-sighted Pol Pot, and he reminds me of, he always said he was there and he just couldn't believe it.
I mean, it's like a climbing dynasty now. Obviously, Brooke and Sean are like two of the best in the world, and obviously they've had that.
Yeah, and Didier was incredible comp climber. He was the man to beat for a while. Yeah, he was a machine. He was really, really good.
Strong family.
Yeah.
So when you come back then, you're essentially having to say, okay, I'm just gonna find things to do. What was the process of finding those things? Was it just like people going, this hasn't been done, this hasn't been done?
I knew them, so I wanted to do Ulysses.
Okay.
Because I knew that hadn't been done, and I did that. I think 2 weeks after I came back, so I did that straight pretty much very quickly, and then I wanted to do Masters Wall because that was one of the ones. And I think I'd belayed John Reddit on it the year before and seen him try it, so I knew what the line was.
Okay.
And so I knew that one. So I wanted to do this, the last great type problems.
And they just led on from there. I guess, so they just became
I think I did Ulysses, Revelations, Masters Wall, the big routes like that.
And I guess you were doing most of those quite quick.
Yeah.
A couple of days sort of thing.
I never spent more than 3 days on anything. 3 days was a siege.
Yeah. Is it
if you
back
like
then
3
or in total
now I've spent a lot longer doing things.
Okay.
But back then, if you got, I spent 3 days in it, people were, 3 days. Yeah. That was a long time.
Wow. Because I guess just because the style was what.
Yeah, I mean it was the same for everybody. I mean, I think when Ron did Strawberries, that maybe took him 3 days, but like 3 days, 3 days trying something, massive.
On-site climbing, and
it had never been done that people had never spent a month or 2 months doing something. And also, it was a different ethic. So now, if you're trying something, you can ethically hang on every bolt and practice all of it. You can top rope it no matter what you do, as long as you climb from the bottom to the top on red point. Back then it was yo-yo. So if you climbed up and fell off, you had to lower back down to the ground. You couldn't like go to the top and practice it.
Was it the who kind of changed that? Was it the French guys that changed that?
French guys were doing red pointing, and then I went over there and I did everything on yo-yos. So when I first went there, I repeated their stuff on yo-yos. And they were like, "You're going to come back and do them properly." And I was like, "Oh," like that, because I'd done them quite quickly. Yeah. I did a couple of them. When I did the first ascent of Papillon site in the Verdon. Mm-hmm. So I red pointed that just because I thought I didn't want them saying, "Oh, he didn't do it." So I think that was the only one I did where I pulled the ropes, and to me it didn't make too much difference. I did it so I fell off, lowered down, pulled the rope, fell off, lowered down, pulled the rope, and then did third go.
What's the longest you ever spent on something? Route or boulder?
Probably the ace on and off, but I was trying it the wrong way. And I didn't try it all the time, but I wasn't sieging it, so I maybe try it a couple of times.
So was it? Yeah, I'm curious.
I think liquid amber, that took a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I first abseiled down that and bolted it, I couldn't even do the moves, and then I went back and did a few of the moves, and it was really ahead of its time when I first bolted it.
So what was the process of kind of, obviously you bolt it, then you just come back periodically over?
I came back and I tried it, and then I think I managed to do all the moves. Then I came back the next year, and I think I did some big links on it. I think I fell off the last move. It might have been the second year. I fell off the very last move. I got through all the hard stuff. And then in my wisdom, I thought, well, I'll go back to Sheffield, have a rest day. So I got my motorbike, went to Cadwell Park on a track day. Really good rest day. Crashed it, broke my ribs, my foot and my wrist. And that smashed me up for the year. That knackered my year pretty much. And then I did it second day the next year, 1990. So I would have done it in 89.
So I guess you were still seeing just progress in your climbing then
and that was the first 8C plus. It's given 8C plus, and I said I'd have easily done it the year before, but I was into my bikes and stuff, and that knackered me that was in the middle of the competition season, and I still in that year I still came third in the World Cup.
Probably lost a few quid then from that. Been a few more comps you could have won.
Yeah, the worst thing was it was right in the middle of the comps, and I really wanted to do liquid amber, but I wanted to do that more than the comps.
Yeah, do you look back on the, is it the routes and the boulders that you've put up that you look back on now more fondly than the comps, or?
Yes, I think so, because I think a lot of the comps are forgotten. People look at Hubble and they talk about it. Well, to me, I've done competitions and won them, but in that time were harder than doing Hubble, and nobody even knows about them. They're forgotten, aren't they? So for me, it was nice to do the routes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I still don't regret doing the comps. I enjoyed doing the comps.
What did you think you enjoyed most about doing the comps? Was it
burning people off?
Yeah. What else?
Yeah.
When you were
standing on top of the podium, I enjoyed doing them, but you have a lot of pressure. A totally different type of pressure from doing routes. You've got things pulling at your brain from all different angles, trying to analyse things. Then you've got you sleeping the night before, what you eat. You've got to climb now. When I did comps, you had to walk out on your own. You had 2 minutes to look at it, and then you had to climb. So there was none of this going out in a big gang looking at it. Yeah. So it really was more on site.
Okay. Yeah. Did you? One of the things I was interested to ask you about was that feeling of pressure in comps versus then pressure trying to climb a route on a trip, for example, like being in America. Like, did the pressure of comps kind of dwarf the pressure of climbing stuff on rock, or was it?
No, I felt more pressure in comps. Because you can go back to a route, can't you, on the next day?
Sure.
I obviously there was a lot. I did some on-sites where I really wanted to on-site things like the Phoenix and some big routes. I did quite a few first ever on-sites of different grades and stuff. So it was only certain routes where I built them up. that I felt pressure, but I didn't really feel pressure. Just that when you actually come to it, you think, well, let's just have a go.
Oh, so you managed to like bring your state down. By the time you got to training on site or whatever, you'd
yeah, you want pressure. You want pressure. You want pressure. You're not going to achieve anything of any significance ever without pressure, because if you haven't got pressure, it is not of significance.
Yeah,
it's not important. You know, if there's no pressure, it's not an important thing, is it? So if you're doing a running race and you're trying to beat somebody who's won gold medal in the Olympics, and it's just a running race, but not the Olympics, there's no pressure, so it's no great achievement. You've got to do it when it really matters, and you've got to have pressure. And most world records and things are done under that pressure. So people always going about the pressure. We've always got pressure. Well, you want the bloody pressure.
It has to be there.
Well, what else are you going to pull as hard as you bloody can? You know, you want to give it everything. You want that pressure.
So you think you have to use that? You have to feel
pressure
that
gives you everything.
And then
It gives you the adrenaline. It just gives you that edge. You know, but it can also it can also work against you. And I've done things where the pressure's worked against me and it hasn't worked for me, but it's learning how to embrace the pressure and go, right, I'm full of adrenaline now, I'm shitting myself and I feel pressure and I can barely swallow, I'm shitting myself, and go, right, let's have it. This is what I've got it here now. Let's rip it to shreds.
Can you think of a time, an example when it did, maybe the pressure did break you, or it didn't work for you?
Yes, in competitions. When I did my first competitions, I didn't know what it was because I'd never done competitions. So if, like nowadays, the people who are doing competitions, I mean, they've done, if you go to a World Cup event and you ask the top 20 climbers, when did they start doing competitions? It would have been 15 years ago. It would have been when they started. Well, for us, there were no competitions before. So I'd never done a competition. So I didn't do a competition until I was in my 20s. And I'd never done a comp before. It was just going out and trying to do a route. And then everybody's going, oh, competitions are great. Oh, I didn't want to do them. And everybody's going, oh, you've got to do them, they're brilliant. Then I went to the first one and everybody was whinging. And I thought, you said they were bloody good. And everybody's going, oh, I don't want to do it. And everybody was nervous. And then I climbed crap in the first few. And I thought, oh, man, I climbed way below what I should have climbed. Just because I was too nervous and I just didn't like it. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like the route. I don't like being told when to climb. Well, I think if you go into a competition and you think, I don't like the wall, I don't like being told when to climb, I don't like being here, you're never going to perform well. You have to go, I love being in this competition. I can't wait to climb, and I don't climb. I don't care when they tell me to climb because I'm enjoying this comp so much. I just don't care. You've got to like everything about it. You've got to look at that route and go, whoa, that looks great. I want to do that. Rather than look at it and go, oh man, artificial bloody piece of crap. I don't want to do it. You know. Yeah. So you've got to everything about that comp. You've got to want to be there. You've got to want to have travelled, done all the effort to get down there. And once I realised that, it became better. But the first
comp, a lot of practice for you to find that mental state, or?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Over just a series of comps and.
Not really. I failed in a problem in Munich where I knew it was mental. And because I was climbing so well before, I was climbing. Oh, I was the best shape ever. I was absolutely ridiculous. And I went to this climb and I climbed so badly on the first route. It was like a 7B plus and I barely got up the thing. And I was on sighting 8A plus pretty consistent. Well, consistent, I really was. I didn't try them if I didn't think I could do it, but I was consistent on it. And then I was like, what's happening? And then in the semi-final, I was like, please, get it together. And then on the semi-final, I got the highest. So then I thought to myself, right, I can win one of these because it's the first time I've beaten everybody. And then I got to the final, I had a meltdown again and climbed crap. And then I thought, I've got to find out what's happening. And then I got a hold of a book, a sports psychology book, and threw myself into that. And I did everything it said on that sports psychology book. It was 3 weeks or a month before the next competition, and that was the first World Cup ever event. You know, it was the first UAE event ever. It was the World Cup, and it was in Leeds. It was a new format of climbing. It was in Leeds. It was the first English comp, and I really wanted to win it and show. There was a lot of negative talk about competitions back then. The BMC weren't behind it. A lot of climbers thought it was going to ruin climbing. They thought they were going to have the crags taken over.
Same in the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a lot of negative talk about it, so I wanted to show people what climbing was like for me. So that was a lot of pressure on that one. But I did everything from the book and knew how I should be thinking, and I went to that one full of confidence.
So you just had to practice those things that were laid out.
I did everything it said in the book,
and
yeah. I didn't just read the book, I did everything
Right.
it said to do in the book. So I spent at least an hour a day working, writing down what my thoughts were going to be, how I was going to perform, changing my attitude and everything.
And I guess maybe was this in later years the kind of part of the inspiration for writing Mastermind?
Yes, because it always interested me, that stuff. Yeah, so it always interested me. And then I was in Germany and I was talking, I'm interested in that. This guy said, I'll do the book with you if you want to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so someone approached you about doing it, and then you said, yeah. I'd like
Yes,
to do that.
yeah. See, he said he'll publish it. We'll do it together.
Yeah, I think
I pretty much did it all by myself.
Did you?
Back of the whole work, yeah.
But I think what's really cool about it is that it combines, scientific evidence with anecdotal stuff from
Yeah,
the
well,
world's
very
best climbers.
luckily, a friend of mine in Wales, Noel Crane, he knows this guy, Lou Hardy, who was he was the top man for sports psychology in the Olympics, for the British Olympic team for like 10 years. He's a professor and he's one of the top guys in the country on sports psychology. So I wrote the book, and then Noel said, if you want, I'll speak to Learn, see if you can go and see him. And so everything I wrote, he read it, and then I went over and spent a day with him, recorded it all. Realised I got a lot of it wrong. He was super nice. He was very, when you meet people and you think, oh, friggin' it, this guy's super bloody clever. I'm having that fear. Yeah. He was like a professor of maths, and you go, whoa. And he was like, well, we wouldn't really say it like that. We'd kind of say it like this. So then it took me another month of working on the book to put in a lot of things that he said, and he really helped me out. Even though I only spent a day with him, he helped me out hugely. So I recorded everything, and then it took me 2 weeks. I put all that recording into I wrote it all down, and then I had it written down, and then so it helped me put that into the book. So it's coming from one of the top guys in the world on sports psychology. And then I thought it'd be really interesting to it's not what I say, it's what Adam Ondra says, it's what Alex Migos says, it's what all these other people say. Margaret Hayes, she was the top female climber in the world at the time.
Did you just approach these guys? And
Approached them, and then I didn't meet Margot Hayes, but I think Hannes interviewed her because she was in Germany at the time. He recorded the interview and he goes, you won't believe it, this girl, it's like she's read your book before. She does everything that you said to do in the book.
She's doing it.
And a lot of the times I interview people and they knew what they were going to say, but you want to have it because everybody thinks the same way. Everybody.
That is interesting, isn't it? The amount of overlap there is between you talk to people who are really good at it.
Yeah,
They're
I
all
said
saying
to everybody,
stuff.
what's your state of mind when you're climbing at your best? What sort of state of mind are you in? And everybody was like, you know what, I'm not really thinking about anything, I'm just having fun and going climbing.
Confidence,
and everybody
happy.
who said that thought that they were being original and nobody else would be thinking about. Everybody thinks that. Everybody, you want to be in, you have to have a smile on your face and enjoying it. You can't be kicking your chalk bag around and going fucking harder on all this shit. You've got to obviously you're going to have times like that because climbing's frustrating and all sports frustrating when you can't get it, but you've got to try and get yourself out of that and be positive.
That's maybe something that I've struggled with more in my climbing, is trying to find that confidence and that happiness and that sort of place where I'm enjoying it so much that it's just easy to feel good, and it's easy to just keep going and keep going.
Yeah,
Is that
and if you don't warm up well and you don't feel good on that day, I mean, Adam Ondra was one of the best. I was like, how do you feel if you warm up and you're just about to do a comp and you don't feel very good, and your warm up's crap? And he goes, well, I just go back and I think about a day I had, might be 2-3 weeks ago, where I felt really good. Right. And I think about that day when I warmed up, not that warm up.
Okay,
and
he's actually drawing on other days.
Drawing on other things. And you just think, and he's quite right, you can't lose it in 2 weeks. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's
Not
there.
you know, and sometimes in your head you go, oh, I've lost it. My power's gone. My footwork's gone. I can't think. Oh, it's all gone. Like that. Well, you can't do.
Yeah.
You can't do. So you've got to have that confidence to recall those old memories, pull them into your conscious now, and go on that.
Yeah, I think that's something that it's easy to not be able to do is recall very recent events.
And it's no coincidence that the best climbers in the world are doing that. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah. That they can access those that
they think about it,
away.
and they think about sports psychology and stuff.
Yeah. Did you have to, were there times in your climbing where you felt low confidence and you used that to kind of draw on, or did you always feel like you were naturally quite confident? And
no, I was always pretty confident, really, but I'd have times where I'd just go bouldering and I wasn't interested in routes, and then I'd get bored of bouldering, then I'd do routes, and then I'd flip it backwards and forwards. But obviously I had days where I didn't feel strong, where I thought I'd feel strong, but then that comes with experience in knowing your body and knowing how to peak on a certain day. And that's a big part of climbing. It's massive.
Knowing to align the conditions.
Knowing your body and thinking, no, I need another rest day here, or I've trained really hard that day, it's taken a lot out of me. You go training the next day and you really want to have a big power day, and you're just knackered, you've got nothing, and you've got to just go, well, I trained really hard that day. If I train again on that tired body, I'm really going to knacker myself, so let's just do some volume or something like that. So
going by feel and like learning your body and how it responds.
And being patient and not just going, I'm going to do it anyway, you know what I mean?
Patience is one of the biggest things, isn't it, I think?
Yes.
To just be able to warm up and say, okay, I don't feel good today, and okay, if it's not a competition, it's just a day on rock, and you can go out another day. I'm not feeling it today, I'll come back another day.
Yeah, do something else.
But there's a balance, isn't there, I guess, as well, between doing that and then doing that too often and not actually. Did you ever find where you had to like push yourself through a bit more and say, okay, I don't feel
I was always motivated for training and stuff, but I always used to think, if you have one good power day, one day where you feel really exceptional, and 1 in 10 days you're doing well, really.
Okay, that's interesting.
When you feel really good.
Okay. So you
for
were
me, back in the day, that was like 20, 30 years ago. It's different now. Those guys are bloody strong every day, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, they're
younger.
Do you think they can be climbing 6-7 days a week? Do you think you can feel?
I think they vary it a little bit.
I guess if they're training
and they're
for
young,
comps,
aren't they? They're only early 20s or 20.
Yeah. You can recover like so fast. Yeah. And I guess
so I didn't start doing comps till I was, what was I? It's late 20s, mid late 20s.
Yeah. And I guess it was more, it was unidimensional then in terms of how it related to rock, whereas now, like you said, they can do so many different things. They can have one day on slab, they can have one day on run and jump, they can have another day on power, they can
they do it all. They do it all in the day.
Stretching,
they'll do stretching, they'll do weights, they'll do slab stuff, then do other stuff. They're there for hours.
It's interesting how the comp climbers are training much more in that way, and the pure rock climbers, take like Daniel Woods or Jimmy Webb or Sean or Rabbit, two of those guys. They're really almost the opposite end of the spectrum, and they're just going climbing, but they're just going climbing a lot. But I think even those guys, like Dave Graham is maybe an example, they vary what they're doing day to day. So it might be one day they try a really hard project where they try and sort of, single hard moves. The next day they might go and explore, and they might go and climb 3 or 4 easy boulders, or
definitely,
or make longer links on a bigger problem or whatever.
They just go out and from what I saw, I mean, I was with them up at that place in Estes Park. Is it Magic Mountain or something? I can't remember what it's called.
Well, like Rocky Mountain National Park,
or
one of those places.
That place. Yeah. Oh no, with those guys with Sharma and all those guys, and they were just running around finding stuff and just mucking around, just like we were. Yeah. It wasn't like super scientific. They're like, let's try this for a bit. Look great fun.
Yeah. And those are some of the best days, aren't they? Where you're just running around finding whether it's new shit or just
trying stuff.
There.
It was no different from what we were doing, really.
Yeah. How did you balance? So when you were coming to stuff like the Ace or the hard bouldering things, how were you balancing trying those projects with climbing other stuff, like going climbing volume, or just?
I just kind of did what I wanted to do, really. It was quite later in my climbing career when I stopped climbing, doing bouldering. So I always climbed and bouldered, and then later on, because I would climb for so long, I just ended up doing bouldering. I hardly did any routes.
Right. So
And
there
just
came a
going out
point where you were
bouldering.
just bouldering and you just
Yeah,
stopped with
I just
routes.
kind of went bouldering.
Do you remember what was that transition? Why you stopped with the routes? Or?
No, you just kind of drift out of it. And then I'd had a time where I was just bouldering. Then I thought, I'll do some routes. And then I had it a year. I guess it was from that picture you gave me, it's 95, where I got some endurance and I did evolution and progress and a few other routes and stuff. And I got my endurance. I thought I'll just do a few routes for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got tired of that and then went bouldering. But I was a lot older than these younger climbers now.
Yeah. So that was something that interested me actually, is that you sometimes tend to see people start with maybe bouldering and kind of go bouldering, sport climbing, trad climbing. You almost did the reverse. You were trad climbing, sport climbing, bouldering.
Yeah, but I always bowled because when I started climbing, where I went to school in Wales, I used to do loads of bouldering on the wall.
Oh, right.
So that's how I improved really quickly.
Yeah.
So we had a climbing club and we climbed Wednesdays and Saturdays. The walls of the building were limestone. And back then there was nobody was buildering or bouldering or anything. So I found all these, on the back of the walls had these little edges and stuff, and I went bouldering on there.
Oh.
So you used to do it every lunch break, every morning. We'd spend hours just traversing and doing all these boulder problems.
I guess you're on pretty
Not
bad
climbing
holes.
in climbing shoes, but I just had a pair of Doc Martens. I was climbing with Doc Martens. Didn't even have climbing shoes.
Yeah.
It was just
We were
climbing
just
the
mad for
trainers
it.
and stuff. Yeah, we just went traversing every single day. And then I left school when I was 17. The last year, I got good, and I thought, well, when I leave school, I want to be a climber. Not a professional climber, because there was no such thing, but I wanted to be a full-time climber. And I used to have a few free lessons, and all of those lessons I used to spend traversing. And I said, I want this to be my job. I'm going to go traversing. So I've got 1 hour break where I'm having a lesson. I'm going to go on the back of the wall and go traversing for an hour. And I used to do that every day. And I used to go for like long runs and traversing. So I improved really quickly. So you've got to think nobody else was bouldering and doing that stuff. And even when I started bouldering in the 80s, if you did the hardest boulder problem in the world on Stanage, it would never have got in the magazines.
They just wouldn't have cared.
No, but they wouldn't care, and you wouldn't care. It wasn't a thing. You wouldn't probably even given it a name. Nothing was named. You just do a problem.
Yeah. When you were, kind of towards the end of maybe your climbing or your bouldering especially, I'm thinking kind of Stone Love sort of era. Were you aware of what was going on in those places, like the stuff that maybe Fred Nicole was doing or Clem Loscott or those guys, or?
Not really, no.
Really. Yeah, I asked Ben the same, and Ben wasn't really
No.
aware much of what was going on either. It was just like you guys were still doing your own thing.
Yeah, we're just doing our own thing, yeah.
And maybe as well because in those days there was only magazines and maybe Fred and
yeah, Fred was doing a lot of stuff. He did some amazing stuff in Rocklands in South Africa, and I did go there.
Oh, you went? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you went to Rocklands.
I went
you did
up
that.
there.
There's a thing in Cape Town that's yours, isn't it? Hard, eh? There's
Yeah,
an 80 plus
yeah.
of yours.
Yeah.
Dave Mason was telling me about this.
There was some local guy, and he was talking about some climb, and he's going, yeah, it's hard, eh? Everything he did, he goes, yeah, some routes there, they're hard, eh? So I climbed at hard, eh?
That was what he named it. So what did you
Every
think
route he did, yeah, it's hard, eh? Yeah, it's a hard route, eh? It's a hard route.
That's great. What do you think of Rocklands and
They're phenomenal.
It's gorgeous,
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you're into bouldering on rock, you've got to go there. It's up there with Fontainebleau. It's just phenomenal place.
Well, do you think if you could only boulder in one place, or you think where's the best boulder in the world? Which would you pick?
Well, it's hard to pick between the two because they're slightly different
I know,
rocks.
but
and
if you've got to
pick, Fontainebleau.
Okay. Yeah.
But if I was going to pick Fontainebleau, but in my picture of Fontainebleau, there's nobody there. Because when I climbed there, there was nobody there. So I'm picturing Fontainebleau going to Cuvier and 2 other people being there.
If we were there today, it'd be hammocks, it'd be picnics, it'd be
really
thousands of screaming kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Easter holidays. And
First week I went there, I climbed there 2 weeks. I climbed in the south of France. I hitchhiked back. I went there one day, met Antoine Ministrel. He said, you can stay in my flat in Paris. So I stayed in his flat in Paris. I used to get the underground to Port d'Orléans, and I hitchhiked there every day from Paris. Really? So I hitchhiked there and hitchhiked back. And I stayed there for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was just like, this is frigging amazing. And I saw one climber midweek.
Wow.
There was the same guy at Cuvée, midweek, one guy. And then the weekend, all the people came up.
Locals.
Midweek, you never saw climbers. If you went to Apramore and the other places, you never see anybody.
When was the last time you went?
Oh, I think when we did the real thing, whenever that was.
Really?
Yeah, I've not been
Wow.
back since then.
Was that 90s, 2000? Because Stone Lev was early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think,
I don't know.
or 2000. You guys in Cresciano, and
Yeah.
I think you were in Font at the start of that, weren't you? And then you guys went to Switzerland.
Yeah.
What was it like climbing, kind of on that sort of trip? I don't know how much of it you remember with like Ben and with Malk and
Cresciano.
and Richie and those guys.
Oh, it was. Oh, for me, it was a lot of work. We drove down then. I was knackered, and then I had bad skin, so it wasn't the best of trips, really.
It's a long way down there, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah, it's a long way. Malcolm
Yeah.
flew there, and we drove down. I remember getting there, and he'd flown there, and he was all fresh, and we were just like knackered from like 2 days of driving. And then the first day was Greece. I was trying some problem, and then I cut my finger, and it was hard work.
There's
So
some,
I didn't enjoy it that much.
Yeah, you kind of get that sense in the film actually, because Malk's kind of fresh faced and looking
Yeah, and
really
there was
strong.
loads of people there. There was loads
there?
of people. I was trying one problem, and
Was it La Prou or La Boule? I think you say in the film you're like, there's just people everywhere and everyone.
yeah. So I was trying something. I don't know, it's 70 plus or 8A or something, and there was just so much people then being filmed, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to try it anymore. Thinking, yeah, I'm going to take my boots off.
Wait.
And then everybody buggered off, and they did it first go.
You did it.
It's just like, oh, thank God for that. I'm not used to, I don't like climbing with loads of people. Not
That's
if it's
something,
noisy. When I did the Dominator in Yosemite, there was always 15, 20 people watching, but I just said, if you could just be quiet, I don't mind people watching, but don't say anything. I don't want to hear, go for it, you got it, breathe.
Yeah.
None of that. I like it nice and quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
Always maintain there's nothing anybody could ever say to me that make me pull harder than I'm trying to pull, because I'm giving it everything. So no matter what you say, I'm so it's best I like it quiet, because that's how I've done most of my climbing.
Yeah. Was it challenging then climbing something like Dominator on a trip?
It was with the Dominator was really hard because I tried it in May, so it was the wrong time of the year. So it was really getting, on a hot day it was baking hot, and then you'd have 1 or 2 cold days. So that was the challenge for that one for me. That it was totally the wrong time of the year.
You were just being patient then and just waiting for the right day? Or?
I was just lucky, really.
You were lucky?
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You get a day.
I was lucky that the day that I did it, it was wet in the morning, and then it dried off. And I think that the storm came through, it just cooled it down, it dried off, and I'd had 2 rest days before that day.
Perfect. Did you find you climbed better after two rest days?
Yes, I was stronger that day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I needed to be really fresh.
Okay.
So I
Skin
went.
and everything.
I got really light. I didn't eat anything.
Did you
I
not?
went for a massive 4-hour walk, and I was rested, and I was really psyched for it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I guess back in those days, the lightness and feeling light and feeling strong was a
Yeah, and
bigger
it was
thing,
like I say, it was
wasn't
totally the wrong time of the year. So if I hadn't done it that day, I don't think I'd have done it. Well, I've had to go back when it was winter.
How long did you try it for?
Well, I tried it the year before. I didn't really try it the year before. There was chalk on it. It was one of those problems you'd seen, and it was one of the last great problems that always been chalk on that right-hand pinch. Other problems that the year before, and this was pre-bouldering mats, so I spent an afternoon clearing the landing. So I put a load of boulders, flattened it all off, put a load of dirt on it so it was smooth, because it was a really bad landing before. So I prepared the whole thing, didn't try it, and then I was warming up in the sun on this slab, and my foot popped, and I was mantling on these 2 things, and my foot popped, and I thought, I'm not falling off blue suede shoes. I went like that, and popped my capsule, so I didn't climb. So I left that year, and then went back the following year to try it.
And how long did it take that trip?
Probably a day, I don't know. I can remember being pushed off and holding a move, and then going through another move, and then probably 5 days at a guess, 4 or 5 days.
It's pretty.
And then I'd never linked any of the moves before I did it.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never done it. So I'd never done the first. Well, the first time I did the first move, I did the problem.
Did the whole thing.
And I never meant the second move and the last move. But obviously, you know, I got nowhere near the first move, and then the day that I did it, because I was so strong to do that first move, I just went bang, and then just went doot, doot, and it was all over.
That's an interesting thing, because a lot of, I speak to people quite a bit about this, is the balance between building confidence and doing links on boulders, maybe linking, for example, those two top moves that you hadn't linked. Sometimes we feel like we need to do it to build the confidence, and sometimes you can just know that, okay, if I do this one first move that I need to do from the floor, I'm going to have that extra like 10% or whatever it is to get through the rest of it. And I guess maybe that
one thing I've always been good at is finishing things. Right. If I can do it, I do it. It's very rare that, you know, I normally, so many times with other people and they've been on problems that they've been stronger than me, and I'm like, oh fuck, he's going to do it before me, and then I'll pull it out the bag and do it.
What do you think that is? Where does that come from?
It's just, I think just real determination, real determination of like, I will not get beat on this. And I've had it loads of times where other people have been really strong, and they've, you know, I've been trying a project and then they look good and I'm thinking, God, they're going to do it, and then I'll just pull it out of the bag. Yeah. And I've had it a lot of times with people where I've climbed with friends and, you know, they're better than me on stuff, and then they're trying it, then I'll do it, and as soon as I've done it, they'll do it next go.
Yeah. Sometimes it's all you need, isn't it? Yeah. See somebody do something.
But I'm the other way. If I think they're going to do it, I'll do it first.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Just a quick break to tell you about our online course, Master in Stone. The course is over 6 hours of video lessons filmed in Fontainebleau, where I walk you step by step through my approach to outdoor bouldering, covering tactics, technique, and how to actually get better on rock. The course is all about the small details, the 1% improvements that, over time, helped me climb multiple 8C boulders and nearly 500 problems in the 8th grade. And if you've ever wanted direct input on your climbing, you'll also get access to message me through the platform, so you're not just watching lessons, you're actually supported as you go through it. If you want to improve your level and squeeze the most out of your time on rock, check out the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on screen. Right, back to the episode.
Very cool.
It's amazing how many places have little walls just popping up in either schools or community centres and stuff. Yeah. I mean, when I started climbing, it was through a mate who took me trad climbing, and then there was one gym or one wall, you know, in the area, which was in Swansea, that was more or less just a rope wall. But we also had a YMCA in Port Talbot, and all they had was a 40-degree board, which initially just had like a bunch of random holes on it, and then within I think a year or so it had the first sort of set of moon holes. Right. And it had those printout setups with, like, you know, you put the holes in the right orientation as they were, but there was like 6 boulders. Right. And that was it. You know, so now you're working off a moonboard setup that's maybe, you know, it's got 20,000 boulders on it. These had 6. Right. But it was still, you know, when they were printouts on A4 piece of paper, so you were like, oh, I can try these. Yeah. And I was climbing maybe like, I don't know, font 6C, font 7A, so it was like, and the easiest one was font 6C plus. But they've recently Ben and Sam, they recently retried these boulders that I think were like 05, 06 or something. And you know, the 6C pluses, they were like, fucking hell, how is this 6C plus? They were like mid 7s, you know. I don't know, God knows what the 8s would have been. Yeah. So, you know, you were working off. We always undergraded everything. I mean, a lot of stuff on that scoreboard was. I don't think I've ever had a single route or boulder problem I've ever done downgraded. Really? But it would be the absolute. It would be to do a route and have it downgraded. It'd be the absolute pits. Because you're like, it's like you're saying, I'm so good, I've climbed this grade, and somebody goes, no, you haven't. And be like, oh God. What do you think of Charles's thing of deliberately overgrading something so more people come and climb it? Well, people do it now, don't they? People like to. You know, back in the day, people used to go to Spain to do the first 8As because they were like 7C plus. I think that still happens now. That still happens now. No one goes to Font to do their first, you know, Font 8A, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Masterson classically did a route I think it was Cheadale, and he called it Yorkshire 8A, and it was 7C plus, or Yorkshire 8B, something like that.
Yeah. Was I guess that was always on your mind, like when you would? I mean,
we undergraded
a bunch
everything.
Of boulders. Yeah, you try and
We undergraded everything.
yeah, intentionally. Or
Yeah,
just,
we just undergraded stuff. He just did. Yeah.
I mean, I totally get this thing of like if you're gonna be on one end of the spectrum or the other, if you're gonna make it soft or hard, maybe you make it hard so that it's not gonna get downgraded. But I guess you try and be honest, and you're as honest as you can. But if you're gonna hedge one way, you're gonna make it a bit harder, aren't you?
Yeah.
What do you think's like the most memorable first ascent of a boulder that you did for you?
For me, Liquid Amber was pretty special. Because I went to school there, and I can remember going down there. Maybe things like, probably the easy routes, like doing my first hard severe on Dinnersmock with my best mate from school.
Right.
And it's hard severe. I'll never forget that day. It was just epic going up there together and with the helmets on, and the freedom of going up there. I'll never forget that day. That was really special. And then doing Mayfair with Andy Pollitt on Pentruin.
Oh yeah.
That day, cycling down from school in the afternoon on my bike, and Andy goes, "I've got this new route, it'll definitely go." And I thought it was going to be like a RVS, and I looked at that and I was like, "Man, you nuts! Thing's got no bloody holes on it, it's blank." And then he spent ages, and we sat on the bolts and rested and stuff, but we did all the moves. He did that, and then I top roped it first go, and then I sat on the bolts, did the top pitch, and he followed that first go. So he would have done them, and they were, hard at the time.
So some of your most memorable days weren't even necessarily the hardest routes you did?
No, not always. But then you have some of those memorable days. Obviously, the one going up so long, all the stuff on the Cromlech. That was a memorable day. Yeah. Doing Martyrs' War and Ulysses, those
The best.
crazy days really, because you think when I did Ulysses, it's not like you could drive around there. We had to get a bus to Lodge Moor and then walk all the way atop. So it was an hour and a half walk to get there. We never had lifts there, so you had to walk all the way across the top.
Yeah.
It took bloody ages to get there, and you never saw anybody else on the crag back then. So you're thinking, God no, before mobile phones, bouldering mats or anything like that. If I'd fallen off that, I'd have been screwed. It'd have been epic.
Yeah, it's a different kind of.
It would have been loads. We'd have done loads more routes if we had cars.
Yeah.
But getting to Stanage from Sheffield was bloody epic. Because you couldn't hitch there. You couldn't go. You couldn't. That's why we climbed on Burbage and stuff. Cause you could get the bus to Fox House.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So it just made Burbage an easier.
Yeah, and then all the routes that you climbed at Cheadale, Ravenstor. I didn't have a car when I did Revelations. It was like you had to hitch there and walk from Tideswell all the way down that hill.
We got it easy these days.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful walk. And I go there with my wife now, and we take the dogs for a walk, and I go, "Isn't it beautiful?" Back then, you just slogging down this bloody hill, looking at your feet, one step, and going, "Oh, this is shit." And it's one of the most famous, beautiful walks in Britain, Monsaldale.
It goes to show how the climbing is what's on your focus.
It's a beautiful walk, Monsaldale. People come from all over the country to walk Monsaldale, and we're like, "Oh, this is shit," plodding along.
Did that change when you stopped climbing? Did you start to then appreciate the places?
Yes, it did, yeah.
Because I think I find myself a little bit guilty of that now. Like being on a trip in somewhere, amazing.
Yeah.
And you think like Rocklands or wherever, and you think, I'm so lucky, I'm lucky to be in this place, but I'm so focused on the climbing that I can't see.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Were you able to do that whilst in it when you were still climbing, or was it still?
Yeah, you thought it was nice areas, but you don't really appreciate it or do other things and stuff.
Yeah, that's.
But for us, it was all that. But like all the stuff at Bukes, we hitchhiked down, then stayed in a cave. Everything was an epic getting around.
Yeah, we don't have. It's not like that now, is it? Everything's pretty easy and accessible.
No, it would cut the amount of people climbing down. I think.
Yeah.
There were as many people doing it as it was.
Yeah.
It was hard work.
I think in that sense, we're more spoiled. I mean, I've chatted to a bunch of people these days about how people who were predominantly rock climbers, now with the amount of gyms there are, they spend so much more time in a gym and they climb way less outside. And they obviously, you notice that in your climbing, like you go outside and suddenly you can't, you're not moving as well, you're not reading the rock as well. And I think maybe in that sense, it's just the amount of gyms has made us a bit soft. To going outside and considering.
Well, when I climbed, when we did those first time in Buttes with Ben, we hitchhiked all the way down there. We had a Walkman with 2 plugs with 2 head things in. And every evening we're just lying in sleeping bags listening to, I think we had 6 tapes, 1 Walkman, and we just lie there in the dark listening to, I think we had Killing Joke, which is like a kind of punk band, and we had some Dionne Warwick stuff which we recorded at his mum before we went down. So we listened to Dionne Warwick and Killing Joke. We used to sit there like that, listening to the...
And you're one earphone in each, like laying
yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. And that was our evenings. We'd wake up in the morning. We had one of those, grand pain, one of those big loaves of bread. We had one of them in the morning. We cut it in half. We had Nutella and banana for breakfast and cheese and tomato for night. And that's all we had. We had the same food all the time.
Yeah, you guys weren't eating much, were you?
No.
Yeah.
No, we were like
struggling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's a totally different time. I mean, I guess people still do little bits of that now, maybe in places like Spain and stuff, where they dirtbag it a bit, but it's nothing. They're still living out of cars with jet boiler stoves and.
Well, Wolfgang Gulick came down from Germany with a friend, and he had a Mercedes car. We were like, "Fuck yeah!" And then we went into this cafe, and we had a coffee, and Wolfgang paid for the coffee. We're like, "Whoa, we got a free coffee!" And then he looked at our climbing rope. And it was knackered, and he gave us a rope because you can't climb on that. We're climbing on this single 9mm piece of shit. And I remember he gave us a rope. So he felt
pretty tough. That's Wolfgang
Gulick. Yeah.
Was he impressive to climb with?
Yeah, he was strong then. He didn't really do any of the hard stuff. I was climbing a lot better than him then. He improved really a lot.
Yeah. Do you think what do you think made him improve to the level that he ended up getting to?
I think initially going over there and I unsighted his hardest route, which should take him days to do. So I think the belief is like, well, I better pull my socks up and do something.
Yeah, that's interesting. The competitive spirit then.
Yeah, I guess, competitive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, being competitive and realising what's possible.
Seeing, I guess like you said, seeing what's possible, seeing other people do it. I kind of pretty strongly believe that if you're not around either the stuff that you aspire to do or the people who do the stuff that you aspire to, it's pretty hard. Unless you see it, it's pretty
really
hard to believe that it's possible.
It's certainly easier, isn't it? If you climb with the better climbers, it pulls you up there a little bit.
I mean, I guess we're all lucky to some extent. I mean, I was lucky in South Wales. There was stuff that I could see that people had done already. So there was a bit of a blueprint laid.
Yeah.
Which you probably had when you started, and then you're saying, okay, well, I've got to that point, I can now push past and kind of try and do stuff that hasn't been done.
I mean, when I went to America the first time, I tried to associate myself with all the best climbers, and people want to climb with you, don't they? But I had it when I stopped climbing. I got into surfing, and just by chance I met some really good surfers, and they're the best surfers in Britain at the time. No way. I surf with them, and I'd always pedal out, and they'd be the best people in the water, and I'd be the worst. And I'm like, here's my mate, he's really good, and then I'd be like some kook going over the falls, getting smashed to bits.
So you'd be asking questions and trying to like pick, or just watching and picking up what they were doing?
They sort of give you tips and stuff like that, but they get you in the water where you're looking at it and thinking, there's no freaking way I'm going in there. It looks horrendous. And like, come on, you'll be fine. And I can remember going out sometimes when it was big and just thinking, where is he? And if you can see him, you relax, and then you can't see him, and you go, oh my God, where's Luke gone? Where's Luke? Oh, and then he goes like, and you're just thinking, all you're thinking when you're out is I want to go straight back in because you're shitting yourself.
Did you ever have that with climbing? Or was it?
Yeah, I like being scared. I did a lot of soloing.
I mean, that Cromlech.
I just enjoy. I think I just enjoy being scared. Enjoy adrenaline sports.
Yeah,
I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed soloing and run-outs and big waves. And I've had enough accidents now that I wouldn't even get on a push bike.
These days, especially not.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty scared to get on a push bike out there.
Yeah, well, I broke my neck in 6-7 years ago in Lanzarote surfing, and that was life changing. Really, that was a long, dark period. It was really hard to get back, just to walking again and doing everything.
Okay. So after that, you were like, "No, I'm done with all
man,
this
the
stuff."
pain. The pain. I was in it was so painful.
Right.
It was so painful. I had I broke my 7th vertebrae, so I had a trapped nerve. So all the pain was in my left arm from this trapped nerve. So it was just a horrendous nerve pain in my arm, and then getting back for that. So I'm 63 now. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're healthy now and you, I guess, did you notice that as you got older? Just I want to be healthy and.
Yeah, I want to be healthy. And I don't want to go back to hospital lying in bed staring at the ceiling.
Yeah. I wasn't sure actually if you still climbed, and then the guys we're staying with this weekend, Tom, he mentioned he sees you every now and again at the Foundry doing.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I
some
go down there a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
So it depends on the weather. If it's pissing it down the rain, I can't think of anything else to do. I'll go down there and just do some easy stuff. Yeah. But I kind of limit myself to what I do, because if I try and do hard stuff, I just get injured and have problems with my wrists and fingers and stuff. And I'd rather be able to go down there and just plod a load of easy stuff rather than trying to do something hard, which I can't do anyway. I'm getting injured. But I quite enjoy it, so I do it on the social side.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I climb a lot with Rick, the guy who owns the unit and stuff.
Right,
so
okay.
I climb, got mates with him, climb with those guys.
And
I go to Innsbruck probably I was going to Innsbruck probably 4 times a year.
With
Rick and all the people
and
that he sponsors.
Right.
So I'd go over there and see those guys.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's good to watch them, because you always get to see
the best.
Yeah, some really good climbers climbing there.
Yeah. Were there any routes or boulders that kind of got away from you? Is there anything that like nags at you? Like I
wish I'd done Masters of Ret on Millstone.
Yeah.
So that's the only one really.
That's the only one.
But
that's pretty
it
good.
was, I went there, found it, sort of abseiled down it, brushed it off, did a move, brushed another move, then did another move, then did a thing, then I sussed it all, then I was top roping it, and I was top roping it consistently every go. But I didn't have that device to put in those holes so for me, they had no gear on it, so it was a solo.
Right. Right.
So I didn't have the option of that thing that went in that slot. That wasn't invented for me. I didn't. So it was a solo.
That's a different thing.
So I was top roping it to solo it, plus bouldering mats. There's no bouldering mats, but I think I would have soloed it. I was consistent on it.
Has anyone ever soloed it? Do you think?
No.
I guess why would you?
So that's why I called it Masters of Rets. In my head, one day the master would come along, some Zen Buddhist master, and go, I'm not afraid of death, and solo it. So that was my vision of Masters of Ret, that the master one day would solo it, because it was a solo.
Right. Where did you get, it's just when you say that about calling it Masters, where did a lot of the names come from of stuff that you named? I mean, I know the story behind Liquid Amber. What about like Dominator, for example? Where did you get a lot of these
Dominator, I got a thesaurus on a computer.
Right.
Yeah, so I put in power.
Oh, and it came up.
Yeah, so I put in power, and one of the things was dominate.
Wow.
So power came from dominate, so I called it Dominator.
That's cool. Did you ever have a list, or were you just like each
bowler
or each route would throw something?
I really love that name, Dominator, but that came from that. And then the Force, that came from when I was trying it. There was a Michael Jackson song called and it's the first lines are the Force. It's got a lot of power. Do you know that one from Off the Wall? So I call it the Force. And it's a great line. The Force. It's got a lot of power. And me and Ron Count were trying it together in a ghetto blaster. We were listening to Off the Wall the whole time.
You're the ghetto blaster. These days, that's an ethical faux pas these days of the old speaker at the crag.
Right, yeah.
I guess
there was nobody else there. There was nobody else there. It was just me and Ron, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nobody else bouldered. So it was just we're trying that one. Stick it, I can't remember. I think it was like you'd be climbing something and somebody said, stick it. So I climbed that one, stick it. Yeah. Revelations, somebody said, call it the Revelations, because it's the beginning of a new chapter.
The Ace? I guess the Joker.
Yeah, that was the card. It was the playing card. It's like, I've got the Joker, and it wins everything. So if you're in a playing game of cards, and everybody goes, you're not that good, mate. There's the Joker. That's my problem. Go and do that.
Yeah.
So that's where they came from.
And then the ace is just like the
Yeah.
logical progression of
with
that.
the card thing.
Yeah.
And then Samson on the thing that came from, because it was David, Goliath, Samson, all had religious names, and the Messiah. So all the stuff there's all religious,
It's
isn't
just
it?
thematic, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of the time on these things.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Do you know how many sort of Jerry's problems there are knocking around in places? Because I've been told that you never actually named many of these.
I named one, and it's not called that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No
I
way.
named one. I did one on Frogger. I called it, it's just left as Joe's Slab.
Right.
And I
you
did
ca-
one there. I thought, I'll call it Jerry's
Call it
Slab.
Jerry's.
That name never got remembered.
Wow. They're everywhere. You know,
Huh?
they're everywhere. There's
Yeah,
like Jerry's
there's a lot.
problems absolutely
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, I
Do you
know, it's quite
remember?
funny.
You know,
I
was it a case of like you just weren't giving
I would
them
say
names?
nearly
or-
everyone I gave a name,
Okay.
but the name gets
Wow.
forgotten.
Wow,
doesn't
that's
it?
interesting.
So you give them a name and then it gets forgotten. Like this, is it Jerry's Traverse in the Lamberis Pass? I gave that a name.
Right. There's Jerry's problem in Sheep Pen. Do you remember Sheep Pen in Ogwen Valley?
Yeah, so I
Is
remember
it-
going somewhere there, but I can't remember where it was or
Yeah,
what
yeah.
or anything like that.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because it'd be cool to have. You know, I mean, it's a bit of history, and it's you got you
Yeah.
attached to it, and that, I mean that's probably
It's
more
quite
memorable.
funny, isn't it? But back then, see,
Yeah.
people didn't name problems.
Mm.
They didn't name them.
It was
But
just like
then,
a
or if you
throwaway
named
thing.
it and then you just forgot, and then people change it and call it something else.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
quite
that's
nice, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's goes to show the impact you had, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So to finish the podcast, what I like to do is do a little this or that.
Right.
So it's just one thing or the other. So,
Right.
Sport or bouldering?
Now bouldering.
Sport or trad?
Trad.
Comps or rock?
Rock.
Roofs or slabs?
Roofs.
On-site or project?
Man. Project. It's really, they're the same, though.
Really, 50-50 feel?
Yeah, 50-50,
Yeah.
because they're both amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. Font or Yosemite?
Yosemite.
History? Size? All those things? Is that what...
Yosemite, just because hanging out there.
Okay.
Yeah, hanging out in Yosemite is amazing. Going to the Four Seasons, going to the deli and just sitting around the deli talking about climbing and stuff, and all the people there and stuff, and the area. It's a magical place. Not so much the bouldering, obviously. Font's way better for bouldering.
Yeah.
Way better. But Yosemite is kind of a magical place.
Okay. Gritstone or limestone?
Limestone.
Whoa, you won't get many people answer that. That's sick. I love that.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking English limestone.
You're thinking of like.
I'm
Spanish.
thinking
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah.
Bukes and stuff,
Yeah,
and places abroad. So if it was English limestone or
You're taking
gritstone, I'm going gritstone.
There you go.
Feet
It'll piss off a few
limestone,
people
not
now.
even feet limestone or anything. It's shit, isn't it?
Yeah. Evolution or liquid amber?
Liquid amber.
Dominator or the ace?
Dominator.
Samson or the Messiah?
The Messiah.
Ondra or Megos?
Oh. Ondra.
Fred Nicole or Clem Loscott?
Nicole.
Beer or coffee?
Beer.
Golf or surfing?
Surfing.
There we are. We'll end with that. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you
Cheers.
very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the only hard ones are on site or